Welcome back to Refit and Sail. My name's George Isted. This is Jamie. This is my bungalow, and we are once again going racing. If you watched the video from a few weeks ago, you'll have seen that Jamie and I went racing in my Westerly Sealord. I affectionately call this boat my Floating Bungalow, so we're calling this bungalow racing. Well, by popular demand, Jamie is back.
Hello.
I've persuaded him to come racing with me on the bungalow again, and we're going off to do another race. So we are leaving shortly to go and start a race called the Morgan Cup, which is a RORC race. We are doing it two-handed, and it starts off of Cowes. It goes the wrong way round the Isle of Wight and goes off to Dartmouth, and we'll be stopping at Dartmouth. So it is a one-way race, unlike the last one, which was down to the Eddystone Light and back. So come along for the ride, and we'll show you how we get on. So this is my Westerly Sealord. She was built in 1983. She's one of the early ones. She's hull number 8, I think, of the Sealords. Yes, it's got SD8 on the sail. And I've owned her for a few years. She's definitely not a racing boat. She was built for cruising in reasonable comfort. And I've done some work on her to tidy her up over the years. There is lots more work that I would like to be doing, but I spend all my time fixing everyone else's boats. So I don't have a lot of time, sadly, to play with my own boats, which is something I do need to sort out. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I'm really pleased to have Jamie again with me. So I got to know Jamie through my refit business, and you really enjoyed the race last time.
Did, it was very good.
How are you feeling? You feeling confident and pumped for this weekend?
Yes, yeah, I think it's another light wind race, isn't it?
It is.
Well, I was looking that way anyway for now, but we'll see what happens. But
it's not looking like it's going to be a fast one, so it's going to possibly favour the lighter displacement boats. This isn't a light displacement boat. So we will see how we go. We did okay in the last race despite the light winds, but yeah, it's looking like we are in for kind of 6, 8, 10 knots of breeze for almost the whole race. So we shall see. There could be some very, very light patches of no wind overnight tonight before it feeds in again tomorrow. But
less competition this time. Is there 11 boats in IRC4?
There's 11 boats in our class, IRC4. I think there's something like 80 or 90 boats overall, from the very fastest to the very slowest. We are, I think, if you look at the handicap, we are the 4th slowest boat according to the handicap of all the boats taking part. But most of all, we're doing it to have fun, and it's a good experience for Jamie to do a bit more sailing, and it's a great experience for me because I just enjoy racing and sailing my boat, and it's nice to have some time off the tools. So we're just about getting ready to leave, and you might be wondering, what does it look like on the inside of a finely tuned racing caravan or bungalow? So I'll give you a quick walk through around the inside of the boat. As before, I have removed quite a lot of weight off the boat. Anything that is easy to move and stick up in the car or the van has been done. Here is the forward cabin. It's still got a spinnaker up there that needs to come out because I like to get all the weight out the ends of the boat. To the left here we have a very glamorous heads shower, hanging lockers to the right hand side there. As you can see, we're still racing with the flat screen TV and the decorative half models and the crystal glassware. This is the main saloon. Tables folded down. There's one of the spinnakers, and down on the floor there, because I don't want the weight in the bow, that is my kind of number 3, number 4 hang con sail that goes on the inner forestay. Nav area there, it's a bit of a mess. Jamie is in the galley thinking about what we're going to have for our dinner tonight. And if we go through to the back of the boat, I've got my second fridge there because cruising boat. That's where the spinnakers normally live, in the sea berth that's down this corridor. And then down to the back here, I hope I haven't left any pants on the floor, but no, just socks on the floor. There's the aft cabin, so there's a double that side, there's a single that side, and I have another heads back there. So she is a very comfortable cruising platform, and we do the best with what we have, and we shall enjoy going racing. Right, I'm going to switch this off, make a cup of tea, and then it is going to be time to leave. And we can't hide from the sun any longer, can we, Jamie?
No, it's sweltering.
That's why we're recording inside, by the way. It's about 30 degrees in here, but at least we're out the sun. It is ridiculously hot outside. And so we're kind of hiding from the sun whilst we can, because once we leave, we're going to be obviously on deck.
Baked.
Getting baked, yes. Well, it's now about 5:30. We are just off Cowes. Cowes is over there. We're kind of on the start line at the moment. Pretty much just bimbling around. Got the mainsail up, and we're just going to pull the Genoa out in a minute and just have a little sail just to check that the Genoa cars are in the right position, and then we'll roll up the Genoa again and then wait for the start sequence to start. So, you all right, Jamie? You pumped?
Yep.
All good?
Ready.
Ready and raring to go. It's getting quite busy out here now. Class 4 and Class 3 start at 6 o'clock. Class 2, Class 1 start at 10 past. And then at 20 past, the sort of bigger boats, kind of IMOCAs, VO70s, other stuff that has a lot of speed and performance. So I let the small ones off first, just as before. Anyway, I'll stick the camera back on as we come into the start, and we'll see how we go.
What do you reckon he's saying? Something about caravan.
Yeah.
Bungalow.
We'll drive back. That's all right. What's he doing?
Signal for RC4 and RC3 is removed. The next signal will be the for RC4 and RC3 and the warning for RC2.
I was coming all the way out. Okay, 10 seconds. Wind in, power up. That's fine, leave it there. Let's just get ourselves moving.
Individual recall, individual recall, RC4, RC3.
Boat speed now. Wind in a little bit more on the Genoa now, just bring it in so we're almost on the spreader. More breeze now we're coming out from the land. Much better. A bit high. Come on, George. There we go. Right, got on. Well, we are on starboard, so we're okay for now, but there's an awful lot of boats that's going to be beating up this way with the starts to follow, so just need to make sure we have our wits about. talk to camera and not sail as badly as I was earlier when I was trying to talk to the camera. And we've been zigzagging our way to windward, down Solent to the east. Kind of Portsmouth is just off to my left. Ryde is dead ahead, and we're heading down towards Bembridge. And we're doing quite well. The boats that started behind us are kind of all around us now, slowly overtaking us back markers of the first lot of boats to start. I think we're doing okay. The wind's a little bit up and down, but we're kind of sailing in. We did have about 13 knots apparent. We're now down to about 10 knots apparent, but we're kind of between 5 and 6 knots as the wind allows. And, it's a very pleasant evening, a very nice way to spend a Friday night at the moment. Just coming up to 8 o'clock and the wind has all but shut down. Got about 4.5 knots apparent, and that's largely driven by the tide, which is forcing us upwind. So there's probably about 2 to 3 knots of breeze. So we are struggling to get going. Everyone is sailing very, very slowly up to the forts. Could be a very long slow race unless the wind fills in, which it is due to do, I think. But you can only sail with what you get. Everyone's in the same boat at this stage. No one's kind of, the race has only just started, so no one's kind of got away and got into different wind, so we're all in the same boat here. If you'll pardon the pun. Got an old swan that we've been kind of following down the Solent, and sometimes we gain a bit and sometimes we lose a bit, but it's quite nice to have another boat of sort of similar performance to benchmark yourself against. So I think we'll be keeping an eye on them. I need to find out what they're called on AIS, but we have been catching them. Yeah, Jamie probably didn't hear that, just said we've been catching them again recently. You can make big gains potentially if you can keep your boat going in very, very light airs. It just takes an immense amount of concentration and a little bit of luck sometimes. But if you can keep your boat moving in the light stuff and other people are struggling to do so, you can do very, very well. It doesn't help that we have a very heavy boat compared to all our competitors, but it just means if there's a little bit of a puff, we accelerate a bit, but we don't accelerate as much as a much lighter boat because there's less mass to move. So on the flip side, once we get going, we kind of keep going a little bit longer maybe in the lulls, but generally speaking, lighter is better than heavier.
It's all very, very slow.
About 10 to 9 and the wind has completely shut down. We've got about 2 knots, which is basically the speed of the tide largely. That is it's pretty dire. There's a Brittany Ferries which is just coming through the fleet, and it just had to beep its horn 5 times. And I suspect a couple of the boats had to put their engines on to get out of the way of it. I don't really have any steerage weight at all at the moment. Sails are flapping. Fortunately, there's nothing too nearby, because if there was, I wouldn't be able to get out of the way of it, even if I tried, short of starting the motor. But dinner's in the oven and we're drinking cups of tea, so it could be worse. You probably can't see it on the screen, but there's a very little boat very, very close to that container ship. It's about to come out the stern of it. I don't know if I can zoom in. You might be able to see it. I'm surprised he wasn't told by the pilot boat to get out of the way using his engine. It's in there somewhere. Wow. Problem is the tide is just on the verge of changing, so I've just had a look at the weather. It's possibly not going to fill in for 2 to 3 hours, so we'll have to see what we can do. Possibly have to anchor. It's a very pleasant evening, but it's not a very pleasant evening for sailing, unfortunately. I've seen at least one boat roll his sail up and put his engine on and call it a day. It's probably a little premature. We have a problem.
Problem?
Yeah, talking to the video. We have a problem. We want to go that way, and we're pointing that way, and I can't turn the boat because we are doing 0 and there is no wind. Now, I know I don't know everything about sailing, especially racing. Generally, you want to be pointing in the direction in which you want to go. There's another Brittany Ferries. There is a bloody big container ship now coming into the Solent, and there is a car carrier coming out of the Solent, which I can't show you because it's underneath the sail, which is just flapping. So we really could do with some wind very soon. I think we're going to be okay on the big ships. I suspect there's going to be a few blasts of the horn when those ships get closer to the big cluster of boats over there. So right in the middle of the channel, and these ships are very much constrained by where they can go, and they need to follow the channel out here. So I'm going to hold on to my hat and wait for 5 blasts from all these ships passing. Ooh, returning. Oh, there's a horn. Just one horn though. One blast, turning to starboard. That over there is another cross-channel ferry coming out this time, and he's probably looking at all the AIS targets that are parked in the main channel here. I don't know if you can make out all of those lights. It's probably too dark for the camera to pick them all up, but there's an awful lot of lights over there of all the sailing boats travelling along at about, well, less than a knot, right across the main channel. We have had our anchor down and we have had our anchor back up again. There is a tiny amount of breeze. We are just about sailing. Fortunately, we're on the edge of the channel, but it's going to be interesting to see what this ship does. I expect the captain is slowly pulling his hair out, trying to work out how to get around us all, and there may be some more blasts of his horn shortly. Well, it's Saturday morning and the noise you can hear is the engine. At about 11:30 last night we decided to call it. The wind was, well, there wasn't any wind, so we just had a look at the forecast, thought about how much wind was likely to appear and where we're likely to be kind of at sunrise, and we had a conversation about whether we want to wake up and look at St Catherine's Point, which is kind of the south side of the island, which was about kind of 15 miles away, and I kind of estimated that we'd be somewhere there or between there and the Needles, and that's not very far to go in kind of 6 hours.
No, it wasn't very appealing.
It wasn't appealing.
No.
And Portsmouth was kind of like quite close by, and so I'm afraid we called it. We failed at sailing, but we
And filming.
we failed at sailing and we failed at filming because there's a bit of wash and the camera fell over. It's all very professional here at Refit and Sail. Right, we'll keep filming. Camera's back up right now. Yeah, sometimes that's just the way things are with sailing. You just have to decide if you are prepared to put the time and effort into waiting for wind. And there just wasn't going to be any, and it was going to take a very, very, very long time to get to Dartmouth. And we've obviously got to get back from there as well, and an awful lot of other boats were retiring, have continued to retire overnight. So there's still plenty of boats out there, but looking at the boats that were around us this morning on AIS and seeing where they were, I'm totally happy with the decision. And we got like 6 hours sleep. We've had bacon and egg sandwiches for breakfast, and we're motoring back to the handball. And yeah,
Right decision.
right decision.
Yeah.
You're not too upset.
No. No.
He's got a smile on his face, so I think it's okay.
I'm alright.
He's all right. He's not emotionally scarred. So yeah, that's it. That's the way it goes. Thank you very much for watching. I hope your sailing has more wind than our sailing has for the last video and this video. I'm going to try and do some more sailing on this boat. I'm going to hopefully get some more sailing in on some other boats as well, which I will share with you. And stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.